The topic for this month is conflict resolution. So instead of talking about me, I'd like to share with you what I do. And conflict resolution and people, what happens between people is one of my passions. But to be able to work to resolve a conflict, there are 3 steps that if you follow these steps, you will be perfect. The first one, never take responsibility, always blame someone else. First one. Like that one? If this doesn't work, blame your mother. Never your father, because we are perfect. Okay? If this doesn't work, come and talk to Carlos. Okay? So these are steps it will follow. And if you come to talk to Carlos, Carlos is going to use some of these theories of things to be able to help you. And my passion is to see how what I'm going to share with you is not in the hands of a coach or a therapist to help others. My passion is, I'm not there yet, my passion is how we can create tools and elements that everybody could help her to do that in their work, in themselves, in their families. So a little bit about me. I'm originally a medical doctor. I work in psychiatry, but I'm okay. Don't ask my wife or my children. And my passion, as I mentioned before, is people. So for us to be able to learn how to deal with our life, so the more important thing, or the starting point, is how to know myself. There are several tools that people use to know ourselves better. I think we have David here that works in corporate, in business, and there are a lot of tools that help us to know better. So how do I know the essence is how do I know how I feel, but also what I'm doing? And the other sense is how can I know the other person? Whether have an empathy and start knowing, and there are tools to do that, what is the person feeling and doing, but especially what can I do between us? What happened between us? How to manage that? Because life is not what happened to you, but how I will respond to others. Our program is called Relationship Capital. That is, the capital of life is not in you or me, but what happened in between us. We can be the most wonderful people, but if we don't find an encounter, a way to work on that, we cannot do that. So in the surface, we are all different, but underneath we are very similar. In the surface, we try to show that we are fantastic, but underneath there is another story. And one of my passions is neuroscience. So neuroscience is what I do. It tells us that when I feel down within myself, I may usually react in 2 ways. Well, I like to strangle somebody, no? Or I hide. We are so complex in one way, but in the other way we're extremely basic and simple. So it's important for us to start thinking now, what is a relationship that I'd like to make better, how I'm working, and to see if these elements help me in that position. So when I'm like this, the brain cannot accept that I feel bad. So there is something that the brain cannot accept. That is failure, ambiguity, but also uncertainty. The brain needs to know that I know. Therefore, when I feel like this, there is a block. And this is neuroscience. This happened to any race in the world. This happened to us humans. We create a wall that blocks how I feel, and I create a story in my mind. A story that I believe in myself, that I believe. It's a narrative. So when somebody asks me, how are you? The story is underneath that wall. But I say to the person, I am okay. It's not me. Whoever knows the story of the Bible of Adam and Eve, the myth of Adam and Eve, God said to Adam, how are you? No? How are you? And he said, oh, no, not how are you, where are you? And he said, I heard you in the garden and I was afraid and I hid. So fear is the first element in our life. For us to know our fears, it gives us 50% of the solution. What are we afraid of? And then he hid. I wouldn't have hide, I would have attack. God wouldn't have said to me, Carlos, why did you hide? Carlos, why did you throw me that stone? And then he said, what happened? And Adam, instead of saying, I'm so sorry, I messed it up, what did he say? Anybody remember? No, more than that. More than that. The woman you gave me made me do it. So I started today blame someone else, because this is the origin of the story. And we all do that. So this is the essence for us in conflict. First, to say that we live in a story in ourselves. We want to be certain, but the story is another place. So how to do that? We have tools. As I mentioned before, that we will have several tools to know ourselves in the business. Many psychology, we have others. We are using the Enneagram that I can talk to you on another time. But especially, we have another tool that is the play of life, and that I'm going to show you. This is a story of a mother that comes to a coach and they say, I don't know what happened with my daughter. I am a person who loves my daughter. I want to help her. I want to educate her. This is her intention. Remember last Wednesday? I said that we judge others for what they do, but we judge ourselves based on, remember? Our intentions. So that mother said, what is happening? What is happening? Every time I talk to my daughter, this is the story, then I'm so good mother, I want her education, she disappears, and we are creating a very bad problem in us. And also the whole family is a mess. She's doing her HSC. So in the play of life, instead of asking the person, tell me more about it, we say, show me. Because the telling is the story as Adam, is the story I created in my mind. There is another story underneath that we are not aware. And this is the essence of to be able to know myself. So in this case, this is the mother, this is the daughter. She creates a story, and in the story she's able to see from different angles, and she put herself in the role of the daughter. And this is called role reversal. Putting myself in someone else's shoes. How is life from the other person? And in that case, that woman was able to put herself in the shoes of the daughter and perceive how the mother is trying to talk to her. What do you think that she saw the mother? Friendly or unfriendly? What do you think? Unfriendly. So in that case, she understood herself through putting herself in the shoes of the other person. And from that place, she was able to create a story how she would like to be with her daughter. Instead of treating her like a little girl that knows nothing, she said, I need to learn how to be with my daughter as an adult, how to have a conversation. And in this tool, the person is able to see both together and to see how to go from one place to another. So this is one of the elements that we have, or tools we have, to be able to deal with that. And then I'm going to share you more. And to start, let me see if that works now. Yes? And as I mentioned before, to know ourselves, we need to see the role we play. Everything I do in life is called a role. It's how I relate to the other person. And this is based on a feeling and an action. This is brain study. This is not like we Australians do that and the other people do that. This is universal. So how do I feel and also what I do? And there are two ways that I respond. One is constructive And every time I do this, I grow, and the other person grows too. The other one is fragmenting. I weaken myself, but I weaken the other person too. And the other one is ambivalent. That is a mix of two. And just to finish this, the constructive roles are an emotion that is, for example, a person who feels a calm explainer. No, I'm explaining a calm feeling and explainer. But sometimes I think that a constructive role is a role that I like. And constructive roles are not connected to like. And this is very important in leadership and parenting. You know what I like, but what is appropriate. Sometimes I may need to confront somebody. But how can I confront as like a clear, loving confronter? I be with the other person. I might hate to confront somebody I love. But I can learn how to do it appropriately. Or if not, I will do it in a fragmented way. No, I will do it like an angry shouter. And in that case, it destroys me. I don't grow, but the other person doesn't grow either. But the more insidious one is the one that we call ambivalent. Let's say there is a mother, the mother and father works both, but they have a son or a child who is sick. And the mother chooses to stay with the child the whole week. They'll have a 2-story house, and the child is sick, and the mother on the whole week is exhausted. On Saturday, the husband is watching the footy, and the child is sick and calls. Whether the child will call, the father or the mother? The mother. Ma! So the wife is exhausted, the mother, said to the husband, darling, darling, can you go? He said yes. Does he go? No. No. So she goes. How does she go? How does she feel? But how does she feel? Let down, resentful. But she's doing it with the child. She's beautiful. So she's a resentful lover or resentful helper.
Excuse me, are you speaking from experience?
Never.
It's not his fault.
Never. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. So just to tell you this, when Melanie, my daughter, she was with me and she was editing the case study, that is a journal article about this mother. She said, Dad, this is you and me. And I said, okay, shut up. So that's okay. So this ambivalent role, this is a very important role because this is the essence of burnout, resentment and burnout, stress and burnout, especially in service industries. We have a special program for doctors, for nurses, for teachers. There are service industries. You may not, can have teachers and nurses here?
Yeah, quite a number.
Quite a number. And this is because we are not aware of that. We're tired, we're exhausted, we're underpaid. So you have that emotion, but when you're working, you're fantastic. But this drains us. So for us to be able to understand that is what is essential. And how to know that? First, we need to know what I'm thinking, but also I need to know what is my body response. To see the body will tell you how you're going. Some people will have a tense in the shoulders, stomachache, the teeth, or sweating. We need to be aware of that, but we are not educated to be aware of that. So the body will tell you, this is not going well. And what am I feeling and what am I doing? So this is not working. So getting me? Here it is. So this is the essence about conflict resolution. I'm not telling you what to do, because you can go to YouTube and you have a lot of YouTube videos about conflict resolution. But I'd like to share with you something that you can look at yourself. When you wake up in the morning, what am I feeling? What is my motivation? And what can I do about that? It's very important to have a buddy, to have somebody that I can share with. And of course, sometimes in life we need somebody with more experience to be able to go, a coach or someone else that we can help us. The idea is to be able to learn how to live better. Corinne, no? Corinne, when Corinne was talking, I think she should continue talking, not me. Because I think the voice that for us is more in young people will start motivating us. Because I think that there is hope. There is hope, but it's conditional. If we do our part. And where to start? With ourselves. So I leave you with with thinking in my mind. When I reflect about this today, what it makes me feel? But also it's an action. What can I do about it? So I like to finish like Corinne, in the same way. There is an action that I can say yes to. So thank you very much for that. And what a privilege for me to be part now, very proud of having my share, Rotary, in an organization that has a feeling and an action that I'm admiring and learning from you. Thank you very much.
Just while you're there, do you want to